Hello, and welcome back to Riffing with Clintus, the podcast, my podcast. Apologize for the delay between episodes. My goal is to do this weekly, but, life happens. Things get in the way. But I've got 4 topics lined up. Next 4 episodes topics ready to go. So let's jump into this week's episode. I want to talk about hobbies. If you've been watching my YouTube videos for the last couple of years, you know that I talk about hobbies off and on because I feel like I've always struggled with figuring out what my hobby is. And it kind of hit me a few months ago, 6 months ago, I don't know, that vlogging is my actual one true hobby because it's the one thing that I've stuck with for years, like consistently. And even when I took a break at the lowest point that I vlogged maybe once a month, right? Maybe even skipped a month. The fact that it was still something that I came back to kind of in my mind solidifies it as a hobby, or that, again, long term, the thing that I've done the longest. And now here we are back to daily vlogs, right? Uploading a new video every day, documenting my day. And so have you ever struggled to find a hobby that really lasts? I question, like, my youngest brother, I don't think he has a hobby, like, not that I know of. I mean, if he does, I don't know what it is. Maybe sports betting. He likes sports. He watches sports. My middle brother, golf is definitely his main number one hobby, but he dabbles in other things from time to time. And him and I have always been similar that way. We'll be into something really hardcore for weeks at a time and then, fall out of it. Over the years, I've had what I would classify as numerous hobbies, right? Obviously, dirt bike riding when I was a kid, and then kind of took a break when I went to college, got married, had kids, kind of got back into it a little bit with my dad, which incentivized me to buy a new dirt bike, and I bought a new dirt bike, my first brand new dirt bike. And obviously, I rode that for a handful of years, but it never stuck because my kids never really got into it, and B, I never really had any friends that were my friends that I rode with, right? I had my brother's friends, my dad's friends, and then eventually my brother-in-law and his kids, but again, that kind of didn't last very long. Gaming, I would say, is the next closest thing. I've been gaming since I was a kid, and there's definitely been breaks in that as well. Like, there was years where I didn't own a console, I didn't own a PC, just flat out did not touch video games for years, right? And this is when I think my kids were the littlest. I was definitely playing a PC game when Sierra was born, but at one point my PC took a shit and I never replaced it. I bought a Mac. That's that. I went to Apple, and back then there were no video games on Apple other than like pinball or something. I don't know. There was nothing. So for a long time I didn't play video games, and then I got a PlayStation 3 and I kind of got into video games again. That became the thing that I look forward to do every day, every night. I pretty much stopped watching TV and movies, and I was just Call of Duty was pretty much all I played. And then I dabbled in some other games and whatnot. But I played video games hardcore during my college years. And then obviously fast forward many years later, full-time as a streamer on first YouTube, growing my Clintus Games channel to 140,000 subs, and then moving over to Twitch as a signed partner and streaming there for many, many years as a full-time streamer. Other than that, I really, I've dabbled in, like, I really like house plants. I love plants in general, trees, gardens. I love all that stuff, but I wouldn't really necessarily call it a hobby. It's just an interest of mine, right? And I there was a vlog at one point that I said that house plants or plants was my hobby, or maybe it was my hobby or something like that. But quickly realized no, it's not a hobby. It's just an interest, right? Kind of like the difference between an obsession and an addiction, right? Like there's a line there between the two. It's thin, but there is a difference between an obsession and an addiction, right? I feel like the same way with an interest and a hobby. I think that hobbies never really last for me because I lose interest, right? Life changes, connections change, new things come up, right? There's new technology and there's new innovations and things that didn't exist a couple months ago, a couple years ago, right? So my interest changed there, but we'll get to it here in a minute. But I think I figured out why. Finally, I think I figured out why. The pattern for me has always been like 6 to 8 weeks, right? I obsess about something for like 6 to 8 weeks, and then it kind of plateaus. The interest kind of plateaus, and then squirrel. No, there's something shiny. Something shiny catches my eye in a different direction, and I get into something else, and I kind of wean myself off of whatever it was I was just into, right? And for years, it would drive Tiffany, my wife, crazy. Like, you were just all in on this thing, and now you're into this thing. I'm like, yeah, that's what I do. I think that it might have something to do with my personality trait of, I don't know what the trait is called. I don't know what it is. I think there's a term called like, I'm going to butcher this. I'm bad at sounding out words. I don't know. Basically, even when I was a kid, I never had like a best friend. I had best friends every few years, right? When I was kindergarten through third grade, it was JJ. When I was in fourth grade through sixth grade, it was Justin. When I was in seventh and eighth grade, it was Josh. And then freshman year, it was Josh. All J's. I just realized that as I say them all out loud. They're all J's. That's so weird. I never realized that. And then when I got it, after like that level, like my freshman and sophomore year, I bounced around. Like all the friend groups that I had over the years, I just kind of was friends with everyone. And it was like when I had a class with somebody, I started hanging out with them more. And then for a long time, like my friend group, I wouldn't necessarily call him my best friend, but he was a very close friend. He ended up being the best man at my wedding, was Alex. But he had his best friends. He had his friend group. They did everything together. And I jumped from group to group. And so obviously whatever that is it's a trait of mine that extends out into my interests, my hobbies, et cetera, et cetera. I think a lot of it has to do with curiosity. I get curious about something, and especially as I got older with the internet and search engines, right? What was that? What was that search engine back in the day? Navigator or something? I don't know. Anyway, I think I get curious about things, and so I start going down a rabbit hole of like learning about this thing. And it's funny because that's another trait of mine. To this day, I get really obsessed about something, but it's almost like more about the ecosystem and everything around the thing, more so than the actual thing. Case in point, when I was in college, and then later when I kind of dabbled back into this video game, it was a PC game. It was an MMO. My first MMO I ever played, really the only MMO I ever played up until New World. I would spend all my free time on forums, right? I don't know if Reddit was around back then, but it was definitely the official forum, and then there was another forum, like an unofficial forum. But I'd spend all day on forums reading and researching the best PvP builds and the best, like, when they made a change, and go over the patch notes and like, what did I need to like focus on and train? And then I would post, if you were in my shoes, what would you do? Like, I was obsessed about the game and being good at the game more than actually playing the game. And I do that to this day. I'm on Reddit. I'm watching YouTube videos. I'm learning the best tips and tricks about a game. And I do that more than actually playing the game. I do that I watch cooking videos like crazy. I watch more cooking content than I actually cook, right? I'm interested in it. I almost obsess about it, learning as much as I can, even if I never apply it, But I only do that to certain things. It's not like I do that all the time. There's definitely things that if I'm not interested in it, I just don't give a fuck, right? Like, I don't care about how to put a wall up. I don't care about that. unless the day comes where I have to put a wall up, and then I'll learn it. But I don't have that curiosity of like, I wonder how this works, and then just Google it and go, cool, now I know. Like, no. It's very specific. And I don't think it's necessarily a failure to move on from hobbies. It's more of like an exploration because I'm curious, right? And I don't know necessarily where that line is between curiosity and passion. Obviously, the passion comes later. You know, I would say that, like, you know, I was passionate about tequila for a short amount of time, but then it lost its luster, and I don't know necessarily why. It's like I felt like I learned as much as I needed to, or as much as I could have without going too crazy. But I also think it has to do with practicality. And we're going to touch on this when we come back to vlogging here in a second. But a lot of the interests that I'm into, such as houseplants, it's only practical to a certain point, right? Because it's not like I'm taking my houseplants with me. It's not like, I guess I don't necessarily have friends that are into houseplants and we talk about houseplants all the time, right? Like, I think there's different things that trigger how long a hobby lasts or how long I'm interested in a topic or a subject. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you probably have heard the story of how I started vlogging, how I started posting YouTube videos. You know, I had a blog where I wrote posts, and then I started posting my own videos and hosting them on my own site. And then when I found sites like YouTube and Blip and Vidler and Vimeo, I started using their sites. And, you know, at first it was about attention. I you know, obviously back then it was comments on your blog and, you know, RSS feed subscriptions, very similar to follows and subs now on various sites. You know, that's how it started. And then when I posted my first I started posting personal updates, and it got more attention than my movie stuff and my tech stuff and whatever. My focus kind of shifted more towards, well, I'm a young father. You know, I have one kid on the way. And then when Bryce was born, it kind of became this thing. And then at the same time, over the course of a couple of years, YouTube started kind of popping off, and vlogging became an actual, you know, category and an entertainment, you know, a form of entertainment. In the early days, the motivation was to grow my channel, gain more attention, and be a part of something new, right? Like daily vlogs was very new. I can only remember two people back when I started that were doing real daily vlogs, and that was Shay Carl and his family, the Shaytards, and CTFXC, Charlie and Allie, the original Charlie and Allie. And when I started following them and watching their vlogs, I fell in love with that genre because I'd already fallen in love with vlogs, but it wasn't a day in the life, right? It wasn't like a starting in the morning and going to the end of the night. It was just a guy talking in front of a camera like this, right? He was literally walking around with his laptop with a webcam. You know, he'd walk around his backyard because he didn't have portable cameras. He was just using his laptop. He was using the tool that he had available, which is what I tell people all the time. Use your phone, use your laptop, use your computer. Don't buy any fancy equipment when you're just starting off. Use what you have. And he did. And that's what I fell in love with. I fell in love with that real, raw, almost uncut, because he didn't edit. He just ranted for, 10, 20 minutes. The excitement of creating and then eventually connecting to people. When you started getting those comments, subs are cool, but it was the comments and the interaction that I fell in love with, right? It's cool to see that view count go up. It's cool to see that sub count go up. But when you see a comment and a person's name and an avatar profile picture attached to that, like that's what it really got me. Then there was a turning point where it went from just a thing that I did to something that defined my day-to-day life, right? After a couple of months, like the daily vlog became part of my daily routine where I just didn't even think about it, right? And that's kind of where I'm at now, where it's like I wake up in the morning and the first thing I do, literally the first thing I do, is get my computer out and import my footage and start editing the vlog every day. There's no exceptions. It's the first thing I do because it's that important to me to get it done, get it uploaded, and get it out on the channel. So then there's no other distractions. There's nothing that can get in my way. It's my number one, I don't want to say it's the number one priority, but it's my personal number one priority, you know, which has come with consequences over the years when I was traveling with the family, right? There were days when I knew the internet sucked in the hotel room, so I stayed up before I went to bed. Everyone's in bed, everyone's asleep, and I'm editing because I know I had to hit the upload button before I went to bed to make sure that it was uploaded on time the next day, because we had to get up and go, right, the next day. I think the difference between vlogging and the other hobbies is like I said, the connection, because me doing these vlogs, I immediately connect to people. Whether my audience, most of my audience doesn't vlog, but they're part of the community around the vlogs, right? It would be the same thing as if I don't know, I went to a community garden, you know, a couple times a week. And every time I went to that garden, I saw the same group of people that also went to the garden. And we all have our planters and our plots. And, you know, we gather at the garden and we help each other out. We talk about tips and tricks. And like, that would be amazing. As I'm saying this out loud, that would be amazing if we had that opportunity. But that doesn't exist here. And especially it's hard here in Arizona because in the summertime, things just die. My first house actually had a community garden and I looked into it, but again, not something that I was super interested in. And again, I'm a very social person. So that was one of the reasons I stopped riding dirt bikes. To this day, it's one of the reasons why I stopped riding dirt bikes, because I don't have anyone to ride with. Not that I'm afraid to do things by myself. I do things by myself all the time, but having someone to do it with is an incentive to do the thing, you know? So I think the connection is the number one thing. The second thing is there's a creative process to it. Even though my vlogs are very raw, right? I edit linearly. Like what you see is literally what I shoot. There's no, as of right now, there's no, like I shot this last week or a couple days ago and I'm putting the footage in, right? Everything you see in today's vlog was literally shot yesterday in that order. And I sit down and I edit it, and I'm still editing with the viewer in mind, right? I try to eliminate long pauses. I try to eliminate, you know, mess ups and camera movements and stuff like that. Like it's as raw as it can be with a slight polish, just a slight polish. You know what I'm saying? Nothing crazy. Just smooth out the rough edges a little bit. And lastly, I think there's a little bit of storytelling involved, because I am telling you about my day. I am sharing my day with you. And I think there's an element to that I enjoy. You know, I enjoy the connection, but I also enjoy telling a story, even though I'm never consider myself a storyteller. I know I'm not a writer. I don't enjoy that process. But then at some point, the hobby became a career. Right? I was able to quit my job and do my vlogs full time to pay the bills. My wife quit her job. We started getting these massive brand deals and working with crazy brands and traveling and doing all these cool things. And so the level of excitement continued to grow and continued to grow. And then it, like I said, became like a lifestyle. Vlogging and being a YouTuber became this lifestyle. I started going to conferences and meeting other YouTubers and became part of this bigger community. I think the reason why it stuck for so long, for me personally, when I look back at it, is the meaning behind the moments, right? Like at first it was, I'm doing this because I enjoy sharing. I like making movies. I wanted to make movies. That's what I went to school for. I have a degree in. I wanted to make movies. I wanted to edit specifically. I could shoot video as well, but editing was what I enjoyed doing. And this was the easiest thing for me to record and edit because it didn't require pre-production. It didn't require storyboarding or scripting. It's just my life. And when I realized that was something that people enjoyed watching, done, easy, right? Now I can make my little movies every day. But then as my kids got a little older, and we would go back and look at, previous vlogs, I realized, holy shit, not only am I doing this for my own personal reasons, but I'm also doing this documenting my life, my kids' lives, right? Like I said, I can go back and look at any day or any highlight or pivotal moment in my kids' life. Their entire life is documented. Birthdays, holidays, vacations, losing teeth, getting their driver's licenses, like graduating school, like all that stuff. It's all there. And it is a creative outlet. Like I said, I went to school for video production. I did it in high school. I did it in college. I got a degree, right? There's the personal archive. There's the social connection. It's all in one. I think that's why it stuck for so long. And I took a break. So we talked about this briefly here a minute ago, but I took a break from vlogging because I think there was multiple things happening at once, right? So it was just like the perfect storm. I became a full-time YouTuber. I hit my goal. I climbed that mountain. Then it was just like, how long can I ride this rocket, right? And the answer is to 2016. After 2016, the channel hit this glass ceiling and stopped growing exponentially. Like from 2014, the end of 2014, when I quit my job, to the end of 2016, my channel was growing exponentially, like a freaking hockey stick. And then we had a viral video, literally 1 million views in 7 days, and it broke my channel. And you've heard this before. I've heard this before. To this day, people get a viral video, and all of a sudden, their channel changes. The landscape changes. Not to mention that fall and / winter, YouTube made some changes to the way videos were served. They changed recommended to suggested, or suggested to recommend. I forget which way they went, but it was like they changed what videos showed up on the sidebar. It used to be, you're watching a dirt bike video from Clintus, here's more Clintus videos. And then at some point they changed it to, you're watching a dirt bike video from Clintus, here's some more dirt bike videos. And when they did that, that's when I saw that dramatic kind of plateau. Because it was like 1 video, 2 video, 3 video, 4 video, 5 video. That's how it used to be. Then it was 1 video. And then maybe another video later down the road, right? Like you just didn't see the same. So a lot of things changed at that point. So with the combination of I did the thing that I went to do, become a full-time YouTuber, and all of a sudden seeing like, oh, we hit some kind of glass ceiling. We're not continuing to grow exponentially. And I started streaming. I started falling in love with being live, which I was doing live on Clintus.tv, on this channel right here. I was doing live Q&As, live chats. I was doing that when I was vlogging and still working for a full-time job. I was doing that on Friday nights. And then when I quit my job, I did Wednesdays and Fridays. I did two live streams a week. This is years ago. Justin TV was just becoming a thing. Live stream was just becoming a thing. And then YouTube, I found Twitch, right? Justin TV turned into Twitch, and streaming video games started becoming a thing. And I was like, I love playing video games. I would love to do that live and create so I took Clintus Games, which I was making like videos, and I started streaming there. And then boom, YouTube Gaming launched, the actual website, the gaming logo. They tried to mimic Twitch, and I went all in on that. I was a featured streamer on the sidebar, and I was the Destiny guy on YouTube. Everyone was on Twitch. Everyone was killing it on Twitch, and I was killing it on YouTube. And the combination of, like I said, the YouTube channel kind of like me, and this going, I shifted gears. And then in 2017, I signed my contract with Twitch and became a full-time partner there. And I had to abandon the live streams on YouTube on both channels. All live content was now on Twitch. And I had this new mountain to climb. I was a partner, but I had no followers. I think when I signed, I had 6,000 followers. but they saw my potential on YouTube. I had 140,000 subs on Clintus games. I was averaging 100 to 300 viewers. Very different though, obviously. I moved to Twitch. Most of the people didn't follow, but my goal now was to focus all my attention on Twitch and grow my Twitch channel, grow my Twitch revenue, right? Diversify for business purposes. But because I was all in on Twitch and I started interacting with Twitch people and other streamers, and I was talking to Twitch employees instead of YouTube employees, I was talking to Twitch streamers instead of YouTubers and vloggers, the gap started to widen and my attention was less over here. And every time I was all happy on Twitch. I was happy streaming. I was happy playing video games. I was happy with the growth. Everything I was doing on Twitch was just win, 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 win. And then I look over at YouTube and I'm like, oh, my vlog channel is just not doing it anymore. And then I was like questioning, like, why am I doing this every day? Like, I was like, I couldn't wait to get the vlog done and uploaded so I'd go stream, right? I would upload the vlog and then it was like, I was done with YouTube. I stopped looking at my analytics. I stopped researching stuff. I stopped caring about new features. I just stopped caring about YouTube. I was all in on Twitch, to the point where I went from daily vlogs to twice a week vlogs to eventually once a week to once a month to whenever. And I think the biggest gap I ever took between vlogs was maybe a month, maybe two. And at first I didn't miss it. I didn't miss it all. I was like, cool, like that's less work for me to do, because I was streaming. In 2020, I signed a contract with Twitch I got paid to stream. So I could stream up to 40 hours a week to max out my payout. So I was streaming 40 hours a week. It was a full-time job. So there's very little time and very little energy and mental capacity for me to vlog. The vlogs fell off. The vlogs turned to shit. I burned my audience. I burned my community. And I feel bad about that. And looking back, I wish that's the one thing I wish I could redo. I wish I would have kept the vlogs going, found a way to be engaged. I didn't miss it. I didn't think twice about it because I was so in love with Twitch. But like YouTube, eventually I hit this glass ceiling. It's like my entire social media, like, there's a limit to how far I can grow. I don't know if it's because of my age. I don't know if it's because of my style, I don't know what it is, but it's like every platform I hit the maximum I could grow, and every single platform I'm on has gone down since that peak, right? It's not something where I maintain, like I gain a few, lose a few, but it's just zero. Every day is a zero. No, I like all my numbers, except for YouTube, except for Clintus.tv, because I'm actively, like, it's my number one passion now. It's growing. It's green. I'm gaining about 1,000 new subs a month on YouTube. Everything else is going down. Twitch is going down. X is going down. Instagram is going down. I'm not sure about Facebook. I don't pay attention to Facebook. I honestly couldn't tell you if I've gone up or down. I have no idea. And so when Twitch started to kind of plateau, and Twitch wasn't renewing paid contracts anymore, and so I was losing that guaranteed revenue, I was like, oh, cool, I have some more free time now because I don't have to stream 40 hours a week. I happen to have a conversation with my brother, and I end up going working with my dad and my brothers. And now, fast forward, almost 3 years later, here I am working full-time with them, building the business with them, helping my dad to retirement, helping my brother take over the business, all that. You know the story. But after about a year, actually, it was exactly a year, I could feel the itch that I needed to get back into something, right? I wish I could stream, but streaming is one of those things where you have to have the right mental state. And for me personally, be in the right mindset, be in the right mood, and have the time. You have to sit in this chair and do the thing, right? For X amount of time. And that wasn't feasible. I just, my Twitch channel, just like my YouTube channel, I started focusing on the business and produce and all that stuff. I let the Twitch channel die, and it died. Like, it's, at least my YouTube channel, I brought it back. Twitch, I don't even know how I'd bring it back. It's abysmal these days. It's like, fuck, it's crazy. I did not expect it to fall off as fast as it did. It fell off so fucking fast. I was just like, oh, so the last 6 years was just for nothing. Okay, cool. I found Vlogtober. someone said they're doing the daily vlog every day in the month of October. I was like, 30-day challenge? Psh, I got this. I can do this. And I decided to give it a try. And within 2 weeks, 14 days, I was hooked. I was back. I was like, holy shit, I missed this. I didn't realize how much I missed this. And it was like, I've said this numerous times. It's like, you don't realize how much you love something or someone until you step away from them. You take a break from them. You think you love them. You think that it's your favorite, but you step away and take a break. And then you come back and you go, oh yeah, that's exactly how I remember it. Oh my God, I forgot how good it was. Or you're like, that's not as good as I thought. Maybe this isn't my favorite. Maybe I don't love this as much as I thought. But you don't know until you take a step back. Taking a step back from vlogging and then coming back to vlogging. Oh baby, I'm back and I am all in. It took me a little bit to kind of figure things out. And I definitely started falling back into the same old habits or old mindsets, but I'm in a different state of mind now because this isn't like my full-time job. And it's not something that I'm pursuing to make it a full-time thing. Like I'm all in on my dad's business. I'm all in with my brothers. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. And there's other reasons why I'm devoting my time and attention to it. The main reason is because it's family and because I love my dad and I love my brothers. I've said for years, if you've been watching the vlogs for years, you know this. You can literally find it on the channel. I've said for years that my brothers are my favorite people in the world. Aside from my wife and kids, obviously, my two brothers are my favorite people in the world. They make me laugh harder than anyone else. Even with the big gap and break where I did not see them or hang out with them or really interact with them for years, it's like we just left off where that's like best friends. That's what best friends are. You could be not talk to each other for months or years, and then you pick up right where you left off. That's my brothers. So anyway, now that I'm back to daily vlogging, and it's been 2 years, shit. I think we're going on 2 years. This October will be 2 years. Now that it's been, without a doubt, this is my passion. This is my hobby. I've accepted that vlogging is my true hobby. And even, dare I say, my legacy. I think I will always be known as the family vlogger, the daily vlogger. I was a family vlogger. And obviously I still vlog my family, but as my family grows, next year, both kids will be gone. I'm just gonna be a daily vlogger. I think my legacy will be I'm a daily vlogger. You know, I've picked up hobbies and dropped them along the way, but this is the one I think that's here to stay. And you can't predict the future. Right? Who knows? Like when I started doing the daily vlogs and when I quit my job, I never thought I'd stop daily vlogging. I thought that was it for forever until you get to a certain point where you start another business or whatever else. And then, then you hire a camera crew, some big YouTubers that, now have cameras that follow them around. They don't even actually do their own video or editing anymore. Right. But they still maintain the same style. I think it's safe to say that I'll be, and this is something I've always said, but now more than ever, I'll be vlogging my life for the rest of my life. As long as there is YouTube, as long as I have a camera in my pocket at all times, as long as I'm connected to the internet, I think it's safe to say that I'll be vlogging my life for the rest of my life. And, I think things will come and go. Interests will come and go. I might pick up another hobby, especially as you get older and you have more free time, right? Retirement. But it's also, I think it's safe to say that I'll just go back to old hobbies, right? I could definitely see myself. I'll play video games the rest of my life. That's an easy one to say as well. I'll always play video games. If I have free time, like literally free time with no time restraints, I'm playing video games. I'll always be into houseplants. My wife finally got into houseplants. Our house has got plants all over and I love it. I'd like to increase that at some point. Dirt biking, I could definitely see myself getting back into dirt bike riding. If one day Bryce was like, Dad, I think I'm gonna get a dirt bike. I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go. Let's go get dirt bikes together. I would do that in a heartbeat. One day we have grandkids and Bryce or Sierra wants to get their kids into dirt bikes, let's go. That's legacy right there. So as we wrap things up here, I ask you, what's the one hobby you always come back to? Is there something that like you love and you're all into, but then maybe you kind of fall out of it for one reason or another, life, money, travel, work, but you always come back to? Do you have that hobby? Is there something like that you have? I invite you to share what that is. Share a story. Maybe you have hobbies that didn't stick. Maybe you're like me, where you're like, I can't find that one hobby. I just keep different hobbies. Let me know what that is. Next episode is going to be about my imagination, about how I'm kind of crazy and I have like conversations in my head and I do a lot of what ifs and scenarios. It's gonna be a fun conversation when I kind of open the door a little bit to you, let you in on how my brain works and how I see something, and I literally am like, I don't want to say I'm talking to myself. I don't talk to myself, but I talk to myself. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. You can watch this on YouTube, Clintus.tv, or youtube.com/Clintus. You can also listen to it anywhere you listen to podcasts: Apple, Google, Spotify. The audio is everywhere. There'll also be links, cross links. So if you're listening to this, check the show notes. There'll be a link to the video. If you're watching this on YouTube, there's a link to the audio version, so you can follow wherever you like. And if you are watching this on YouTube, please hit that like button. And let me know in the comments below what you thought of the episode. If you don't have a hobby, if you don't want to answer any of the questions I asked before. And I appreciate you. I love you. I'll see you on the next one. Take care.